Shalom, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Yahweh being the name of the Heavenly Father, who the world calls God. Yahweh Shai being the name of his beloved Son, who the world inwardly calls Jesus. It's the brother Yair Dot at WFI Indiana camp, coming at y'all with a quick cold cut through the spirit, going into being steadfast and unmovable. All right, you want to make sure that while you're in this truth, you're unmovable. You're not tossed to and fro, whether that be with doctrines, you understand? Or whether that's simply talking about the trials and tribulations that you're going through and that you will go through. All right. You want to make sure that you are planted, that you rooted. You want to make sure that you unmovable. All right. When those doctrines come up to you, you know, are you going to be easily pushed and tossed? Or are you going to stay planted and rooted? When those trials and tribulations come upon you, are you going to be easily tossed to and fro? Or are you going to stay planted? All right. These are the things that we want to make sure that we're doing, especially in these last days, and also as Passover approaches, right? So we're going to dive right into it. We're just going to get a couple precepts. It's the book of Psalms, chapter 62 and verse 2. It says, I'll start at verse 1. It says, truly my soul waiteth upon God. From him cometh my salvation. He only is my rock and my salvation. He is my defense. I shall not be greatly moved. So he said he only, you understand, is my rock, man. He only is my salvation. These different things, we got to make sure that when we going through trials, tribulations, that, or whatever the case may be, that we're making sure that we looking towards the Most High. We can't look towards, you know, worldly things and put your trust in those things to try to get you out of these situations. No, you look towards the Most High God first, and then everything else, you understand, comes after that. All right, when these things arise, if the first thing that you thinking about is not the Most High, then you got to reevaluate how you process things when it comes to dealing with these different situations and trying to get through these different situations, because he always got to be first. He always got to be at the forefront. All right, that's how we have to move in these last days. All right, I'm gonna read that verse 2 one more time. It says, he only is my rock and my salvation. He is my defense. I shall not be greatly moved. Why shall you not be greatly moved? Because of the Most High God being at the forefront. You understand? Yahweh Yahweh Shai. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. These different things, we got to make sure that the Lord is in your right hand, paraphrasing. Right? Like it tell you in the scriptures, if the Lord is in your right hand, what does that mean? That means he's your strength, because your right hand is your what? For most people, your right hand is your strength. That's your strong arm. You understand? That, like that horn of salvation or whatever the case is. But the point is, you want to have the Lord in your right hand. All right? Meaning what? That's your strength. That's your horn. That's what you rely upon. All right? If you get into a fight, if you right-handed and you get into a fight, most of the time, what's the first punch that you're throwing? The right. All right? What you leading with? The right. When you picking something up, most of the time, what's your natural instinct is to use your right hand, your strong hand. Right? When you do whatever it is, you got to lean upon the same way how you lean upon, you understand, your strong hand, right? Your right hand. That's the same way you have to lean upon the Most High God. All right? It's the same way you got to lean upon the Most High God. Let me get that. I believe that's Psalms 17. So like it, bear with me. Psalms. Oh no, I want not 17. I want 16. I think it is. Yeah, Khan. It's the book of Psalms chapter 16. So like you. It's the book of Psalms chapter 16 and verse 8. Khan. It's the book of Psalms chapter 16 and verse 8. And it reads, I have set the Lord always before me. Right? He said, I have set the Lord always before me, meaning what? What I do, guess what? The Most High God is at the forefront. All right? When I think of these different things, or when I'm doing these different, just like I tell you in the book of Sirach, do nothing without advice. Do nothing without counsel. That counsel comes from the Lord. All right? But point is, you want to set the Lord always before you. All right? You want the Lord to be at the forefront of things that you do. Even when you're thinking about different things, meditating upon different things, you want the Lord to be at the forefront. When you're making decisions, you want the Lord to be at the forefront. All right, and how do you do that? Through these precepts. All right, thinking upon the law, statutes, and commandments. When you and having those different things come through your decisions. All right, when you make whatever it is, you want the Most High God to be at the forefront. Right, you want the Lord to be at the forefront of that. Right. Reading again, right? Psalms chapter 16 and verse 8 says, I have set the Lord always before me, because he is at my right hand. I shall not be moved. Right? Said, I shall not be moved. Why? Because for one, the Lord is always before him, and what? Hey, it's like the Lord is in his right hand. Meaning, what is his strength? He made the Lord his strength. David made the Most High God his strength. You understand? And by the Most High God, guess what David did? He leaped over a wall, man. He made his enemies to cry before him, man. Right? He beat and beat him like powder and dust. Beat him to dust. You understand? So on and so forth. So we have to make sure that we making the Most High God our strength in the last days. You want the Lord to be at your right hand, like how he was for David. All right? Let's go to the book of I want to go to 1 Corinthians chapter, bear with me. I want to go to 1 Corinthians chapter, actually, before I get this, let's just go to the book of, before I get 1 Corinthians, let's go to the book of Acts chapter 20. All right, in verse, I'll start at I'll get right to the point. 24. Right, it's the book of Acts chapter 20 and verse 24. It says, but none of these things moved me, neither count I my life dear unto myself, so that I might finish my course with joy, and the ministry which I have received of the Lord Yahushua, to testify of the gospel of the grace of God. Right, so Paul told you, he said, hey, none of these things moved him. What are those things? Right, that tried to, right? Persecution, tribulation, right? Upwards of the people, so on and so forth. All right, multiple ailments, all right, all type of different things. Shipwreck, you understand? Being out in the sea a day and a night, all types of getting stoned, getting lashes. Right, all these different things. Guess what? None of those things move Paul, man. That he might what? That he might continue in his course. That he might continue doing the work of the Lord. That he might continue to uplift and magnify the name of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. That he might continue to push forth this gospel. You understand? That he might continue to be a light unto the people. Right? That he might continue to continuously walk in these laws, statutes, and commandments. Guess what? He wasn't moved. He couldn't be moved, man. All right, he couldn't be moved. Right, Paul. Right, that's somebody else that had the Lord before him, man. All right, and had the Lord in his right hand. All right, so I'm gonna read that one more time. All right, in verse 24 it says, "But none of these things move me; neither count I my life dear unto myself, so that I might finish my course with joy." Right? We all gotta want to finish our course. Right? You can't have a mindset of, dang, man, do I really got to do this? Or, man, do I really got to finish this? Or, man, I don't know how I'm going to finish this. Right? The mind is the mind is very, very, very strong. People got to understand how strong your mind is. All right? People got to really, really understand that. Right? I'm not talking about, or I'm not even going to get into the, I'm not talking about manifestation and all that. I'm talking about straight up and down how strong the mental, your mind is. Literally, you can think yourself into sickness. Literally. You could think yourself into sickness. You can damn near, quote unquote, think yourself into, feeling better. You can trick yourself. You can, like, trick yourself into, being brave or not scared, or you could, whatever. Brothers and sisters know what I'm talking about. The mind is a strong thing. So the point of me saying that, and the point of me bringing that up is, you have to use it to your advantage in righteousness. All right. If you going and you wake up, and this and that, obviously, we in captivity. Stuff, certain things or thoughts, gonna occur. We not, we don't have fun 24/7. We ain't immersed 24/7 in this captivity, obviously. But, when it come to doing the work, or when it come to reading, praying, fasting, studying, if you going into it with a mindset of just negativity and just sluggishness and slothfulness and neglect and so on and so forth, then guess what? That's what you're going to get out of it. That's what you're going to get back. You're going to be miserable. Right? But if you're going into these things with a strong mindset, you understand, strength of mind, and as much as possible, a joyous heart, right? Mentally, that's a beautiful thing. And that'll go and take you a long way as well when it comes to doing these different things. Because you don't want to reluctantly do the work of the Lord. You don't want to reluctantly read or reluctantly pray or reluctantly fast, or you don't want to do anything that involves the Most High God reluctantly. No, you gotta have that mind frame of, hey, I can't wait. All right. Or, man, I can't wait to read, man. I ain't got to read all day, and I can't wait to get home and open my Bible and read, man. I'm gonna feel so much better. Or I can't wait to get this fast in this week, man. Man, I need it, man. I know I'm gonna feel so much better when I'm in it and afterwards. Or, man, I can't wait to the Shabbat to do the work with the Aki. Or I can't wait to this, whatever the case may be. You gotta have a certain type of mindset, or you should want to have a certain type of mindset, right? But guess what? He said, hey, I shall not or Salakia said, but none of these, one more time, but none of these things move me, neither count I my life dear unto myself, so that I might finish my course with joy, and the ministry which I have received of the Lord Yahweh Shai, to testify the gospel of the grace of God. All right, let's go to the book of Proverbs, chapter 5. All right, it's the book of Proverbs, chapter 5, and I'll start at 1 and read down, right? But it says, my son, attain unto my wisdom, and bow down thine ear to my understanding, that thou mayest regard discretion, and that my lips may keep knowledge. It's like, and that thy lips may keep knowledge. For the lips of a strange woman drop as a honeycomb, and her mouth is smoother than oil. You understand? Now, this chapter going into adultery, you understand, and dealing with the woman, but on another level, spiritually, it's also talking about these different doctrines and philosophies that constantly try to, bite you like a serpent and snap at you, trying to grab you and sift you out of this thing. And these different doctrines and philosophies that come out, right? They smooth. Most of the time it's like smooth things to the ear. Like Islam is smooth things to Jake's ear. Islam, you can, you give your life to Allah, but you can still be a niggard. You can still smoke weed. You can still kill your brother, right? You can still rap about committing adultery, fornication, and smoking on your ops, right? And then, you can go to the mosque and pray, and everything is forgiven. And then you can just continue that same wicked cycle, right? Allah let you do that. All right. These other doctrines and philosophies that come out here, that they don't transform. Real quick, let me get this precept in the book of Job, right? It's the book of Job, chapter 13 and verse 4. It says, but ye are forgers of lies. Ye are all physicians of no value. Right? And that's what these different doctrines and philosophies is in this world. They're physicians of no value. Right? And it's forgers of lies. It's lies, essentially. All right? Hinduism, spirituality, Christianity, being all those different things are lies. All right? And not only are they lies, but guess what? It's a physician of no value. It won't help you. It won't really help you sincerely. All right? You might get somebody that get in Christianity and guess what? They stop smoking weed. All praises for that. Right? But guess what? Christianity not going to tell you the real. Christianity not going to tell you, you understand, to keep the law, statutes, and commandments. Christianity not going to break down who you are according to the Bible. All right? Christianity not going to do a lot of things for you. All right? Just like how all these other different doctrines and philosophies not going to do a lot of stuff for you. All right? And it's going to lead to just, you know, it's like temporary. It's just like how the modern medicine or hospital thing is, where they don't really cure you. It's not really a cure. You just they heal you temporarily and force you to come back. Right? They heal you temporarily knowing that you got to come back. Because if they really cured you, guess what? You wouldn't need it no more. Right? And that's how these other doctrines and philosophies are, these other religions and all this other different stuff, man. It's not going to really heal you. It can't heal you. It can't. Not even they temporarily heal you, because these other doctrines and philosophies don't even do that. They don't even temporarily heal you. All right? But back to Proverbs chapter 5. It says, verse 3, again, it says, for the lips of a strange woman drop as a honeycomb, and her mouth is smoother than oil. Right? It says, but her end is bitter as wormwood, sharp as a two-edged sword. Right? Meaning what? The latter end of that doctrine and philosophy, religion and stuff that you're trying to follow, or that's trying to get you, trying to grab you by the leg, or trying to grab you by the arm, or grab you by the throat and pull you into it, guess what? The latter end of that is not going to be well. All right, the latter end of that is going to be very, 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 very unfortunate. All right. It says, verse 5, her feet go down to death. Her steps take hold on hell. Here's the point. It says, least thou shouldest ponder the path of life. Her ways are movable, that thou canst not know them. Right? Meaning what? They unstable. These different doctrines, philosophies, and religions are unstable. It's not a solid ground. All right? It's movable. But guess what? This truth is unmovable, man. When you root yourself in Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, you become unmovable. When you truly root yourself into it. If you don't, you half-assed it, or you're not sincere about it, you understand, or not doing the things that's pleasing in the sight of the Most High God, you know, as much as you can, then guess what? You'll be moved. And it'll be shown that, you know, you was never really, you know, the Most High God's sheep, you know, of the Lord's sheep. But instead, you know, you was of others. So ultimately, you got to make sure that you staying steadfast, unmovable, and you rooted in Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. That got to be your foundation. You can't make your foundation these women. Right? And when I say women, I'm talking about these doctrines, right? These religions that's out here. They movable. It'll have you unstable. It'll have you doing 30 different things. You understand? You'll be tossed to and fro mentally, spiritually, you'll be tossed to and fro, right? When these different trials and tribulations arise and come up against you like the winds that you read about in the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 4 and verse 4 on down, guess what? Your branch is going to break eventually. All these different things. All right. Let's go. All right. Let's go to the book of last one. What time is it? All right. Last one. All right. It's the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 15 and verse 58. It says, therefore, my beloved brethren, be steadfast, unmovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, right? You want to make sure that you always occupied, you understand, in the work of the Lord as much as you can be. You understand, through slothfulness and idle hands, the house droppeth through, paraphrasing greatly, right? Idle mind, they say, the idle mind is the devil's playground. That's not saying you can't go out and, enjoy the fruits of your labor, or go out and, scriptures tell you, don't defraud yourself of a good day. Nothing wrong with, enjoying yourself, you and your family, or whatever the case may be. But essentially, most of the time, when you're not doing those different things, you want to make sure that you're abounding in the work of the Lord. You're mentally meditating on the Most High God, meditating on the words of the Lord, right? Yahweh Shai. You understand, you doing something, you reading, you studying, looking over precepts, listening to a video, watching a video, whatever the case may be, giving alms. There's so many different ways to try, to stay occupied and not be idle, because through idleness, it's like it's open season, for these different spirits. They already, try to get at you, even when you are, occupied in the precepts, or occupied in the scriptures, or occupied in the work of the Lord. But how much more when you not? Like I said, it's open season for these different spirits at that point. So you want to make sure that you're being steadfast, unmovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord. All right, it says, for as much as ye know that your labor is not in vain in the Lord, man. And you got to always understand that the things that you do is not in vain. All right, it's not in vain. All right, how does it? The only way it becomes in vain is if you fall away. Right? If you fall away, then hey, at that point, yeah. But abounding in the work of the Lord, make sure that you unmovable. Don't let trials and tribulations move you. Be steadfast. When these trials and tribulations do arise, rely upon the Most High God. Let him be your right hand, which signifies your strength. Let him be before you, so that, guess what, when you make these different decisions, or you going through these different things, he's your shield. All right? He's your rock. He's your shield. He's your strength. You understand? And put the Lord always before you. Right? But Lord willing, brothers and sisters edified. Kwam Yashala. Shalom.